Hello, and it is the Bristol and Bath Lifting Club podcast, which I think at some point is probably just going to get abbreviated to Lifting Club. I think that looks better on a t-shirt, doesn't it?
The Lifting Club.
The Lifting Club, right. So, do you know who's upstairs?
It's your friend Big Man.
I can assure you he's no friend of mine. Okay?
And I can assure you he's not a big man.
Well, I mean, you say that. Other people are intimidated by him.
Okay.
Right? So, for those that don't know, we're doing this podcast in a basement underneath a gym. It happens to be the gym that we work at. And upstairs there is a fucking prick, right? Because although I rarely hate people, I don't think that I'm much of a hater, but I do hate this person, right?
With a passion.
I have a Jiminy. Is it Jiminy? A
Jim.
gym enemy.
A
Gemini. I'm going to call it a Gemini, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know what his name is. And even if we did know what his name is, I probably couldn't say it because of GDPR or something like that. I could lose my job. So we're going to call him Big Man, right?
Yeah.
Do you know what pisses people off about Big Man?
I think I do, because I think people have told me.
You know the person I'm talking about as well, don't you?
Yeah, the guy who's really not that big. But the reason, guys, and this is, they didn't even know who this guy is. This could be all like made up, but it's not. It's very true.
Listen to my voice. He's a fucking prick. He is a fucking prick.
You can sense the hatred. It must be real.
You can sense that it's a real person, and he's upstairs right now. And do you know what? He comes in every day, 7 days a week. He trains
twice a day.
Twice a day, 7 days a week. Fluff and pump training.
That's what we call it.
Which we'll talk about fluff and pump training when it comes up. And I don't want to be a hater, but I hate him.
So I think you're the first person who told me about your malicious hatred for this individual. And then since then, I've had quite a few people come up to me and be like, that guy's a prick.
I didn't start the trend. No. I did not start the trend. But any time I get the sense that he's being an asshole to people, I have now had a tendency to go up to them and say, it's not you. He's just a dickhead.
So I think the problem is he uses all the equipment, doesn't he? He does like these giant supersets and goes. He does
triple. He uses 3 pieces of equipment.
Yeah, and then gets annoyed at you if you jump on it
at the same time. So 3 pieces of equipment all at the same time that are all dotted around the gym. And you've noticed as well, because you said this, that he does like this circuit. Yeah. And I don't mean circuit training. I mean like a circuit as in he puts his phone in one place, right? And then he'll bag the. Not that you can really bag the equipment in the gym. He'll put his hoodie on a bench. Yeah. And then he'll go and he'll want to use both sides of the cable machine. And then he'll also want to use a leg extension or something like that right over the other side of the gym. And I would not be one of those people that likes to ban things. I'm quite a liberal person. I'm not going to say ban supersets or anything like that. They have their uses. I personally don't do a lot of them in my personal training. But I mean, they have their place. However, doing what was essentially a triple superset, 3 pieces of equipment that you're using with rest and stuff like that, and refusing to let anyone else use the equipment at the same time. So not sharing, there is a big difference between, I want to use the lat pull down. Oh, you go, and then I'll come back. Do you mind if I use it again in a minute type thing? It's just a pin. You take the pin out. Okay, you might have to adjust the seat. No, he refuses to let anyone even touch the equipment. And we don't have the biggest gym here. No. So it's completely fucking unacceptable, right? And he's, to make matters worse, he's just really rude because he doesn't say, I'm really, really sorry, I'm doing a superset. What he says is, no, mine. That's mine. Yeah. It's like, no, you don't own it. It's not yours.
So I'll tell you my one and only experience with him that I've had personally. And I had a gym induction and I was teaching people how to use the equipment. And one of the exercises on this person's program card was the lat pull down.
Oh, his favorite.
Oh, so it was free, and I was like, ooh.
Or did it look free?
It looked free.
Oh, it looked free.
So I went with this client to the lat pull down, and I started using it. And then he came over to me and he was like, I'm using this.
Yeah, because that's what he does. He said, I'm using that. Yeah. And he doesn't even say, oh, I'm sorry, I was just in the middle of doing that. He says, mine, or I'm using that.
Mate, he came out of left field. He came out of the woodwork. He just appeared in front of me. And I was like, well, do you mind if we just use it quickly? I just got to show this person how to do a lap pull down. It's on their program. And it was just a little bit awkward.
So did he let you use it?
He didn't really have a choice because I was already sat down on it, pumping away. So he just he didn't say anything, just kind of like turned away.
Because it's very interesting. I don't know whether, because I think that I don't know if his English is that great. Because I think he might be Eastern European.
There's definitely a language barrier there.
But there's also, to a certain extent, rudeness. And I've never seen anyone actually challenge him. So if he is using free pieces of equipment, and I'm not talking about using a bench and some dumbbells or something like that. I'm talking about using free machines all at once in a small gym where there's often only one of each machine.
Yeah, we're quite limited on space here and limited on equipment. We don't have multiple setups. We just have one setup, one piece of equipment. You got to share. Sharing is caring.
I
always jump in with people. If someone's using something, I'll jump in with them.
What, do you ask them first, or do you just...
not if it's your workout, mate. I just jump in and take over.
I know you've gate crashed. You've gate crashed some of my PT sessions.
I have, yeah. I was like, well, free PT, I jump in as well.
2 for the price of 1.
Yeah, exactly. But no, I jump in with people, and I jumped in with this guy the other day. He was training back, and I needed to do a bit of back work on my upper body workout. So I jumped in with him, and it was a really good session. We were just egging each other on, and that's kind of what you do. That's what you do in the gym. You're there to lift people up, help people out, support people. You don't just hog equipment and tell people to F off. It's not how it's done.
Well, I've never seen him swear at anyone, but he doesn't need to swear with his tone of voice.
No, his body language says it all.
Yeah, but as well is because I just think that people do not expect that.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people that I train, particularly people that have just come into the gym for the first time. They're actually really, really nervous and self-conscious and that, and worried about, big men.
Yeah, gym anxiety is a real thing.
Yeah. Gym, is it gym intimidation?
Yeah,
gym intimidation, something like that. But no one's actually challenged him, so everyone's immediately taken aback that he'd even have the audacity to, when you've already started working out on a machine, walk from the other side of the gym over to you, basically tap you on the shoulder and say, no, that's mine.
Yeah,
that's not acceptable, is it? It's not just me.
No, that's really bad. And he should be sharing his toys.
Yeah. So and when you say toys, do you mean that the weights that he's using is basically
we're still talking
Fisher
about
Price?
We're still talking about it. We're still talking about the gym, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Fisher Price, little toy Lego dumbbells.
It's very rude to talk about what people, in terms of their abilities and stuff like that, and what they can lift, because everyone is in a competition. Unless they're in a competition, they're just in a competition with themselves. And I don't want to hate on anyone and stuff like that, but sometimes you're just grateful that everyone can just see. Well, most people can see it. Well, I say that beginners can't see. Right. They look at him and they are intimidated by him. I know he looks like a snack to you, but then you're basically like a giant.
Let's go through this, because this is quite funny. Because you told me...
Here we go.
We're in the office, and you told me there was this big guy in the gym that everyone hates. And I think I kind of knew who you meant anyway.
Well, it could have been one of the two, but the other ones I'm pretty sure has been thrown out.
Yeah. So
other big man. Yeah. Bigger man.
So I got up, and I went around the gym. And I was like, who is he on about? Because I couldn't see a big man. I was like, who is he on about? And then, this was quite funny. You pointed him out to me. You're like, that guy. And I was like, that guy?
You did. And then you did that laugh, which you're doing right now.
I just cracked up.
And it was like, what did you say? You said...
That's a little boy.
Yeah, you literally said that's a little boy. And he's not very tall. I give you that. He's not very tall. But he's, let's say, overdeveloped in certain areas. So overdeveloped, basically all he does is chest and arms. And then he does a little bit of lat pull down, which I believe is the only that's the only back exercise I've ever seen him do.
I think when it comes to size, it's very, subjective, isn't it? Like,
well, you just go by people that you think are bigger than you, and
Yeah.
if they're smaller than you, you think they're small. If they're
Exactly.
bigger than you think they're big.
Like for me, someone who's big
Yeah.
is you know, you're looking at competitive strongman powerlifters, you know, big bodybuilders. These are the people I see as big. People who like fill out their clothes even when they're not pumped or flexing. They're just generally big, imposing people. That's my idea of someone who's big. But this guy does not fit that bill. So to me, I just thought he was like a little
I
child.
go by, in general, what people are intimidated by, because
Right.
there are a number of people that I know are intimidated by him
Right,
personally, and I've had a number of clients say, "Oh wow, I wish I could look like that."
Okay,
You know,
yeah.
because he has more of a, let's say, underwear model kind of build.
Right.
I mean, lacking in certain development areas. Like, what did you say? You said he has no back. And I'm presuming you meant actually physically, as in underdeveloped back, and not anything to do with having a lack of backbone.
I did mean the back musculature. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm presuming. I mean, I don't know. I would be very interested.
The dude
to
doesn't
know.
have a spine.
I would be very, very interested
He's
to
just
know.
crawling around from one machine to the other. He's got no spine.
Because the way in which he does approach people, he taps them on the shoulder and he gets like right up in the grill, like right up close to them. I wondered what would happen if someone did say no, whether he'd just start pushing them around or something like that, or whether he would back off, or what. I would love someone to turn around and knock him out. You know I would, because I dislike him. But I don't think violence is necessarily always the answer.
It is sometimes.
It is sometimes the answer, though, I have to admit that.
But in this case, it is not the answer.
I mean, if someone did, I would pretend that I didn't see it and would not give a statement.
It would be a whole thing. It would really blow up.
I think it would blow up in that I think there would be a lot of clapping. Because I think there's that amount of people, because he trains there twice a day and it's the same time every day.
Yeah.
I think that because again, a lot of people get into the routine of going at the same time and stuff. So he works out the same time a lot of other people that would work out at the same time. So they'll get used to him. They'll know he's a prick. It's not just me that thinks he's a prick. A lot of people have complained about him to me, but there's not a lot I can do about it. And it is one of those things that I do think, yeah, for a lot of people, that he is quite intimidating.
Right.
But what I really, really hate about him is there's equipment hogging, there's rudeness. But since starting at this gym, I've put a lot of effort into trying to make it like more community focused. I've tried to get clients to get to know each other, people that I don't necessarily train that aren't like paying clients or anything like that. I've tried to, network and introduce people to each other so that they can train in a nice environment, because I care a lot about the environment, and I think that the gym is a very, really good place for people to come and actually socialize to a certain extent.
I agree.
But he like completely messes that up because it's all of a sudden everything the bullshit that I often have to come out with, which is like, oh, no one's looking at you, no one's judging you or anything like that. I'm sorry, in the gym there are people that are judgmental assholes. There are people that are going to look at you and judge you for it. People get self-conscious and stuff like that. The vast majority of people that are glanced around and you think that they're looking at you, they probably aren't. But there are assholes in the world. There are going to be assholes in the gym. He's an asshole.
And I think like the gym atmosphere we got here is pretty tame. It's really nice for people to come and train.
Yeah.
And we've got some really awesome people who train here too. Really, really nice people who will probably be on the podcast.
We're going to try. I know
in the
one
near
of
future.
them. One of them has
Yeah.
agreed to do it, and I think there'll be, if that one does it, then there'll be at least another 2 or 3.
They'll all
that'll do
follow
it.
suit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But yeah, going back to like gym etiquette, because that's really what it's about. Like, I think it's important to, one, lift people up, not put people down. Don't make people feel intimidated. And just maintain a really healthy atmosphere. So I have been training in martial arts since I was about 18. And in a martial arts dojo, you have certain rules, like no swearing, show respect, no horseplay, stuff like this.
What's horseplay?
Like, I don't know, just messing around,
Right, okay.
that sort of stuff. So I kind of carried that into the gym.
Yeah.
You know, so don't swear, don't mess around, don't be obnoxious, you know, help people out, don't put people down, share your knowledge, all this sort of stuff. Community, which what you mentioned earlier, is very important.
All of those rules we violated on this very episode.
Exactly. But yeah, so all that stuff's super important. So obviously when you got someone who kind of breaks those sort of rules, it doesn't create a nice environment for people to come and train. And gym anxiety is a thing. So when you get people who maybe they're overweight, they're a bit self-conscious, and they are coming to the gym, and you're getting these sort of people that create a negative environment, it's not good overall.
Yeah. I mean, one of the most important things to start with is you think about learning the exercise and that, and it's really important to teach clients to learn exercises and how to warm up and cool down properly. Actually, one of the most important things is that they need to, as soon as possible, feel like they belong.
Yeah.
And there's that one line, there's a strip on the floor, which it's just there because the flooring changes from basically like a lino to more kind of shock absorbent flooring. Although it doesn't stop people from putting craters in the floor because we have no deadlifting station. But there we go. And people, the very common thing is they say, I'm too scared to cross that line. And that line is where the floor changes from being the standard floor to where all the free weights are. And what they mean is, I don't feel like I belong in the free weight section.
Yeah, and that's sad because everybody belongs there.
Yeah. Apart from Big Man, he can. I think I'd be happy with banning him from the free weights area. I mean, I know he uses a lot of machines and stuff like that, which we will do a podcast on at some point.
And from like a business sense as well, like retention.
Yeah.
You know, you want to retain your clients, you want to retain gym members, and if they're leaving because of one bad egg,
which has happened,
has happened, and it will continue to happen because you do get dickheads who join the gym and they're a bit, you know, different to the community you're trying to provide. So yeah, it does happen. So from a business sense, you really want to make sure everyone does feel inclusive. That is super important.
But no, that's the thing that's why I hate him. Okay, I don't care about his training or anything like that. It is very inconvenient about like using so much equipment and stuff like that, and other people don't have time to or just can't use it. I dislike the rudeness, but what I really hate is he literally is on a day-by-day basis destroying the culture that you, me, and other people are really trying to build in terms of like a certain amount of acceptance and, you know, a nice community atmosphere, which is the sort of thing that's really conducive to a gym like we've got, because of course there are other facilities here as well. It's not just a commercial gym. I know that a lot of commercial gyms are quite cold, not physically, but in terms of like staff and such like that, whereas here it is very, very, very chatty and people get to know each other, which is really, really nice for people that are starting, you know, their lifting journey, starting to get part of the lift club. And
and we have a pretty good demographic, you know. People get intimidated by gyms thinking they're going to go there and there's going to be these really big roided up muscular men shouting and slamming, but actually it's just people trying to be better, people trying to lose a bit of weight, look better naked, get a bit stronger. That's kind of what it's about. I'm thinking
that we should actually have a class, because they do all this HIIT stuff and then they have like all of this stuff like Zumba and all that, you know, which is really, that's just a brand at the end of the day. There's a lot of branding. I think we need to create a brand of look better naked classes.
Put that on a t-shirt.
You could put it on a t-shirt.
Or backwards cap.
But we need to set some sort of, you know, class. Look better naked class.
Yeah.
Every Friday, is it, I don't know, 3 o'clock or something.
You seen the film Dodgeball? They have the average Joes.
Yeah.
I love that. Look better naked. Be an average Joe, guys. It's a good thing.
Okay, so have you ever been intimidated by someone?
I have not.
Not at the gym?
No.
Is that just because you have 6 black belts and you know you could just kill them?
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. It's I don't know.
Because you did have an enemy as well, didn't you, at one point?
At one point,
but he got thrown out, or he decided to leave. I don't know which.
He's gone. You might listen to this podcast.
That would be hilarious if he did. Do we actually know what his name ever was? Or
no.
No. He came out of prison, though. He's a bad dude, wasn't he?
He was a bad dude.
That's why I was told he's a baddie.
Yeah, that's why I was told.
Stay away from him.
Yeah. I mean, you know, you're going to get people like that. He was actually all right towards the end. We got along all right. There's some miscommunication there, I guess.
That's a nice way of putting it.
Yeah, that's a nice way of putting it. But he was going through some stuff, and yeah, I don't know, just bad gym etiquette. But we got through it. Yeah.
Okay, right. So, big man, fluff and pump training. I suppose we'll end like...
Ooh, fluff and pump.
10 minutes worth of fluff and pump, right? Because that's all it takes. So there's this idea, which I don't want anyone that doesn't understand basics of lifting and, you know, programming and stuff like that to walk away not quite understanding what's going on. So there is, to a certain extent, I've noticed a little bit of judgment between different types of people that train with resistance training, weights and stuff like that. You've got kind of like strength athletes, power lifters, and then you have your average person that normally just wants to train to physically look good.
Yeah.
They understand that outside of the gym, if you say that you can bench press a certain number, no one's going to understand what that is.
Yeah, I mean, most people just want to lose a bit of weight, build a bit of muscle.
So there's this idea which some people will understand from YouTube fitness of hypertrophy training and strength training, which basically means using really, really heavy weights for low reps for strength training, or slightly lighter weights for multiple sets and higher reps. So like 10 or more potentially. Now, big man likes to superset. Triple superset everything. I think he might even do a quad.
I think he does.
Four pieces of equipment.
Four pieces of equipment, yeah.
But he does it twice a day for 7 days a week, right? And that's not really optimum,
no,
I would say, for the average person. So a lot of people do kind of feel like, well, wait a minute, if I train 7 days a week, surely that's better than training like 2 or 3 days a week and stuff like that. And I'm kind of like, it doesn't really necessarily work like that. It depends on really what you're doing. If you are some sort of professional athlete, if you look at them, the way that they train, they have general strength building programs and stuff like that, but then they have their specialisms for the sports and you know, that kind of thing they do, so they might train a lot. But your average person, to look good, get stronger, and from a longevity perspective, they, you know, 3 days a week,
that's plenty.
Best,
people never believe me when I tell them that.
Yeah,
like I have clients who train twice a week and make rapid progress because they're hitting everything twice a week and they get plenty of recovery. You know, work hard, get in the gym, work hard, push progression, and then recover. Okay, guys, recovery being a key word there.
Recovery is really important, but it's the sort of thing that people think, oh, recovery, that means sleep and eat a little bit. And I used to think that, and that's technically accurate, but it means a little bit more nowadays from what I try to get people in terms of the thought process is if you're thinking about you train, 3 times a week, maybe you train and then take 2 days off and then you train, in which case that's kind of like 3 days, sometimes 2 days a week, it alternates.
Yeah.
But always treating your lifting day, which we'll call it your workout day, lifting day, as a competition.
Yeah.
So you're actually thinking about on your day off, you're getting ready for your competition, you're getting ready for it. And there's been times like I've thought, actually, I'm supposed to go today. I trained on Monday, today's Wednesday, I should go today, I'm not actually feeling it. Is it better to fail today or to try today or just come back tomorrow, but make sure that I'm thinking, well, actually, I've really got to put some thought into recovery, rest, and come back with a better attitude and stuff tomorrow? Because that's the difference between getting somewhere and setting out to achieve what you wanted to this week on your training program or hitting a PR or something this week versus doing it next week. This is what a lot of people I don't think necessarily think about.
Yeah, kind of I mean, I used to, if I was still sore after taking a day off between sessions, I would just take an extra day because I treat recovery very, very seriously. Especially when you get more advanced, guys. Like when you get more advanced and the weights are heavier and it's starting to beat you down a little bit, you know, you want to take as much rest as you're able to while still making progression.
Yeah.
And come back stronger. That's the key.
Yeah. So fluff and pump training is generally, I don't know if you'd agree with this, doing high reps, often high sets of weight that you're finding it quite easy and you're maybe a little bit sweaty afterwards. So it's basically like pumping everything up. And there's a big culture around pumping muscle, pumping blood into the muscle and getting the pump and all that kind of thing, which it slows down progression, I think, quite a lot.
I agree. And I think I've made a post about this on my Instagram about not chasing the pump, chasing performance. But again, like I fell for the same BS when I first started. I used to think that one, I had to be in the gym 7 days per week.
Yeah.
I remember I even had a day for my biceps. It was like bicep
Wow.
day. Yeah, that's how bad I split my my
Was it
workouts
twice
out.
a week?
No, once a week.
Oh, wow.
It was really bad. But anyway, I thought like I did not achieve anything unless I got a pump. So I'll go into the gym, I'll pump myself up, and I'll swell up to like 2 or 3 times the size. I would literally look like a Hulk for about 2 hours, and then the pump fades, and then I was left with no progression, no size, no real size gained, no strength gained. But lo and behold, I focused on performance, increasing the weights over time, and made more gains in like a few years than I ever did fluff and pumping.
Yeah. But this is, again, going back to Big Man, because, I mean, we're making this an episode about Big Man,
It's titled Big Man, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So, with Big Man, is that why you think he trains twice a day every day? Because the pump only lasts for an hour or so?
Yeah, it could be.
So,
it could
he
be.
might have to keep coming in and re-inflating, like you re-inflate, I don't know, a dodgy sex doll.
Zing! He went there. But yeah. Yeah, exactly. He's trying to inflate his sex
I mean,
doll.
the weight never goes up.
No, that's it. He never pushes himself.
Yeah.
He's just using light weights. He's not tracking his workouts.
No, he's not.
He's not trying to improve on his numbers.
No.
He's just fluffing pumping.
And doing it very slowly.
Yeah.
It's all very slow.
It's pretty garbage, to be honest. I wouldn't recommend anyone train like that.
No.
Of course, if you're on steroids, that's where the pump, originally came from. Was it Pumping Iron? Or about Arnie going on about the pump?
Yeah.
Obviously, Arnie was on a ton of juice. Like, if you're on steroids, you can get away with doing pretty much anything and you're going to grow. You can not lift weights and you'll still grow.
So another thing that, it's not just him that's guilty of it. There's a lot of people that are guilty of it. But it's another thing that people find intimidating and that. So gym intimidation is that I know his favourite bench. Right, the favourite bench that he uses. And I know which one it is because he always uses it, but I know why he uses it. It's because there's a mirror opposite it and there's a mirror next to it. And literally in between, it almost feels like in between every rep, but I think it's just every set. It just feels like every rep. He has to get his camera out, he has to pull his t-shirt up, and it's uncomfortable.
Yeah, I've seen him do that actually.
It's like, I don't understand how people can
Keep
do
a straight
that.
face.
No, but I don't understand how people can actually do that. I mean, obviously he's in love with himself, and you should be proud of your work and what you've achieved, and you should be happy with your body, all that shit, right?
Yeah.
But I mean, it's awkward. Like, it's really awkward. Like, he looks at that mirror, takes a picture, looks at that mirror, takes a picture. And then I know he's been caught in the changing room.
I was just about to say, I've seen him in the changing room just flexing in the mirror a few times.
With little clothes on.
Yeah, it's a bit awkward.
It is a little bit awkward, given that he stays behind after closing time.
He does. He doesn't leave.
He doesn't leave.
We're like,
you have to switch. Like, no.
Can you get out?
You laugh, but, like, the people that are locking up switch the lights off in the gym, right? And he still doesn't get it. He still doesn't get it.
Not like he needs to leave. He's there all the time. He might as well just pack his sleeping bag.
Well, yeah, I mean, come on. But I can't believe it, but we're actually out of time. And that is it for the second episode.
Nice.
So, Big Man, if you're listening.
We had Big Man. We had sex dolls. What's next?
I don't know. You'll have to stay tuned to find out.
Stay tuned, peeps.
Bye.
Bye.